time has come to relieve that pain. Will be better for me.
The Pain Clinic Pro Wrestling Talk Show. Can you feel the pain?
Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic. Yes, we are here for another Saturday, August 23rd. Thank you so much for coming. Today, there's just a few holidays. Ride the Wind Day. Ooh, Ride the Wind Day. North American Grilled Veggies Day and World Daffodil Day. Birthdays today. There are none in wrestling. I'm sure there are, but and if I did, I missed yours. I'm sorry, but I did not see any on my list. Hey, interested in roller derby? You want to be a skater, officiate? Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com. And join Rock City Roller Derby. Men's team is Flower City Fear, FLOUR, Flower City Fear. The original name for this beautiful city, Rochester, was the Flower City because of all the flour mills on the Genesee River, but now it's Flower City with a W here because, I mean, I don't think people are shipping down, cargo or picking up flour and stuff along Genesee River. Genesee River is pretty gross looking. But hey, welcome to the show. I'm your humble host, the Cashman. I'm joined by DC Dan Cole down from NC. How's it going, DC?
Not too bad, Cash. Yourself?
I'm good. It's I think we're past these incredibly sickening heat days in the Rochester area, but I could be wrong. I'm also joined by the boy who grew up on the show. That's right. And it's not Danger Boy because we have still no danger sightings yet. We have the artiste, Rob Sanderson, formerly known as the artiste. Rob, how's it going today?
Good morning.
There you are. All right. Welcome to the show today. It's a big weekend for AEW. Forbidden Door is tomorrow. That will be tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We've got a few things we want to talk about. Some announcements in WWE, some news, some rumors, not too much heavily going on, but some big news actually. If you are going to wonder how long will Peacock be running the live events from WWE, well, we'll have an answer for you during the show. But first off, how's it going, Rob? How are you doing today? What's new?
Nothing is new. Yeah, it's just a Saturday morning.
Saturday
Waiting
morning.
for that slightly unlocked door tomorrow.
It's slightly
I will not call it forbidden because it's almost all AEW versus AEW, it feels like, but
pretty much, yeah. I mean, because most of the guys that were with New Japan now are with AEW, or a lot of the guys that used to cross over on that, which is not a bad thing, absolutely. Uh, First of all, well, that's one thing I want to talk about. First of all, is Will Ospreay. Okay, I think that's kind of a big deal. Will Ospreay, after All In, said, "Hey, I'm hurt. I might not be back for Forbidden Door." Then Will Ospreay shows up this past week and says, I can do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. But then we hear the stories about what's wrong with him. And, some say it's an unwise decision to wrestle with the injuries he's going to have surgically repaired, I guess, after this pay-per-view. Rob, what do you think about that? I mean, obviously they wouldn't let him go in there if he was like, too hurt to be. I mean, heck, Cody Rhodes wrestled with a torn pectoral muscle. So, I mean, the back's a little bit more complicated, though. What do you think?
it's it's concerning in a lot of ways. I mean, if it's truly a situation where the injury can't get worse, which I mean, maybe it's more so very difficult for it to get worse. I don't know. It's this type of match. We have no idea what this cage is like. That's going to have 10 people in it. But having 10 people in a match is a decent way to protect people who either aren't 100% or are 30 years into their career and don't have any knees left, or lots of different things with some of the people in this match. But I feel, I mean, obviously there's concern for Osprey in real life in all of this, and also a concern that, like, if this is the case, after tomorrow we might not see him for a very long time. I mean, like, even the conversations about maybe he becomes AEW world champion at Wembley next year might be out of the equation. And that's just crazy to think about. He's one of, if not the best wrestler in the world right now. So for him to be out for an extended period of time is going to suck.
Yeah, it's I think it's obviously, like you said, it's a multi-person match. That's I guess the big advantage, but is it that important that he's involved in it? I think that he thinks it's that important. What do you think, DC? I mean, geez.
The whole time that when they announced it, my whole idea was, well, a pair of handcuffs takes care of him.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, kind of like Artiste indicated, 10 men in a cage. There's not going to be a lot of flying around in that fast, frenetic pace that we're typically seeing with a Will Ospreay match. So yeah, while it is concerning, I mean, it's his choice, I guess. And I don't think AEW would let him be doing it if, like, that he absolutely shouldn't be doing it. I'd like to think that anyway.
What I'm beginning to think is he's been dealing with this for a while, and so maybe he can wrestle with this, and then it's like he finally, had some people look at it after a while, but I believe it's been something he's been dealing with for, more than the last couple pay-per-views too. So, and if that's the case, then he's even injured out there, he looks 100 times better than most other guys out there wrestling. So, I hope nothing worse happens. And unfortunately, don't think we're going to see him for a while after this weekend. I could be wrong though. I don't, who knows? I mean, they could also switch him out too. Who knows? Put Brian Danielson in there since we had him on the mic this past week, I don't know. I think
and then there's the word about, like, Swerve as well, who may be having to do something medically as well. We don't really know the exact situation there, but I mean, that's concerning, and it makes you think about that match with the Bucks, and it's just like, I still go back to that, like, I love what they're doing with the Bucks. It's hilarious stuff, but it still could have been something that, like, Swerve and Osprey could have lost because they're both going to be out for a while apparently. So why wouldn't they lose in that situation? But I don't know. I mean, I guess we got to wait and see, and hopefully the Swerve thing's not, like, crazy long term or whatever too. So,
and his is a knee injury, right? I believe.
Torn meniscus.
Yeah, torn meniscus, which people have wrestled their whole life with a torn meniscus, or just.
Yeah, I mean, that's there's so many. It's where everybody immediately jumps on the, like, sloppy shop comments and stuff like that. Like, the amount of people and athletes who go through life with a torn meniscus, it's not something that always gets surgically repaired.
Yeah.
Like when I tore my ACL, MCL, medial and lateral meniscus, like, the meniscus didn't get surgery. It just is what it is, and it sucks. And sometimes you, like, can get that scoped or whatever. Sometimes you don't need surgery initially, but then you end up needing it down the line, whatever. So, I mean, I guess, like, props to him for being able to work through that. That's not something that, it's concerning, but it doesn't concern me on the same level as somebody, like, coming back too soon from a concussion or something like that. It's it's something obviously it sounds like he's been working through for a very long time.
Yeah.
And with the stuff that he does specifically with his lower body and his knees and stuff, it's impressive. And it's also, I mean, clearly he's been able to find ways to get through it. But I don't know. The thought of if this company, I mean, right now, when you take a look at the company, like on the men's side of things, we're talking about two of their top 3 or 4 guys
Yeah.
in the company. I mean, that's concerning in terms of like a company that has momentum and stuff like that right now. Who else is maybe going to have to step up in all of that? I mean, that's
See, but I think they have the roster with some young, hungry, talented guys that could very well step up.
I think they do. The problem is they also have like John Moxley, which is like, oh, why don't you wrestle 3 more times every day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, and Kenny Omega is out now too. Another, one of their pillars, I guess you'd consider. I would consider him that at least.
Adam
And
Cole's out.
yeah, there's you're right. There's a lot of injuries going on right now. A lot of guys can step up. You're right there, DC. There's some guys who can, but people pay to see like Swerve and pay to see like Osprey and these guys, and I mean they're because they're like a highlight machine, both of them in the ring. And it's a shame that I'm probably after this, both of them are probably going to be out for a bit. So I don't know.
Immediately, I'm thinking though, like, let's get Takeshita back in the mix. I know he's wrapped up with a lot of stuff in New Japan right now, but he's one of those guys.
G1 winner.
Kyle Fletcher having the TNT title, he's a guy that can absolutely step up and do that. And then even some of these young guys, I think that they've forced into tag teams. Like let's split up those unnecessary tag teams. You got some more single stars. They have the roster to recover from this, and I think it's going
Yeah.
to make them stronger in the end.
I hopefully they book it that way. I mean, like I said, that's still going to be my biggest gripe is that they've got so much talent under that roster and so much of it we just don't see. So it is a perfect opportunity for that kind of thing. But I mean, for the longest time, it was kind of like on the road to All in Texas, and that has come and passed. And now, like, Forbidden Door to me, like, I, I don't know. I'm glad to see that they're doing well with the ratings, with the tickets as of late. Overall, the reaction has been really good. For me personally, I don't know. I haven't loved all of the creative since All In. I feel like it's kind of just like, all right, well, let's just do this now, and then we'll move on to this, I guess, whatever. Like it doesn't seem like it has a huge direction, and I guess maybe like I'm still not totally behind the Hangman MJF thing. I just feel like we've been there. But there's still plenty more they could do.
If anything has direction, it's the women's division. I mean they've been streets, chugging along the whole time. We're getting some good matchups out of that coming up too. So I think that's a big plus. They get a lot of time on TV as well to do this stuff. So I think that, if anything, that's one match for sure this weekend I'm looking forward to is Tony Storm and Athena there.
The only thing is that like I'm gonna throw out that word I throw out before every AEW pay-per-view. Predictable on a lot of things. And I hope that, especially on the women's side of things, there's at least one thing that'll happen tomorrow that isn't like what everybody's expecting. And not just on the women's side, but in general. Like I think this really needs to, especially with this being like what a 9-match card that is less than half matches that are truly Forbidden Door. I feel like you got to switch some things up a little bit, and I would put the belt on Athena. But
Part of me wants to know the logic behind having your two, casino gauntlet winners immediately in the title picture. Like
yeah,
it seems a little odd.
I mean, I will give them somewhat credit. Like the I didn't like the angle of we're gonna burn Mark Briscoe
We're gonna
if
commit
you don't
murder.
agree to this stuff.
Yeah.
And like conveniently enough, like nobody is there backstage to stop that from happening. But Minutes later,
They like to
seconds
burn
later, there's a
people.
lot of security people.
AEW
Um,
likes to threaten to burn people. They've done that a few times, you know.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's different at least. Like the him finding MJF finding a way to not have to use his contract,
Yeah.
like that is creative. It's a little different, but it also I also hate it because like I'm so anti money in the bank stuff at this point in wrestling, and I know that I'm far from the only one that's in that category at this point. So now we're like it seemed like all right, he's using his contract. He's gonna have the match of the pay-per-view. Great. Like that's fine. He became number one contender basically by winning that gauntlet. Cool. But now we're back to like, oh, maybe he's gonna money in the bank this.
Yeah.
Like, come on. No, don't do that.
I'm hoping he still finds a way to use it this weekend and get rid of it. You know, WWE, one of the things I'll give them a little bit of credit for is their money in the bank stuff's over. You know, I mean, they both of them have cashed in. We don't have to worry about someone carrying around a briefcase for most of the year and things like that. Unfortunately, one of them was pregnant and after winning the title, so that kind of hurts that a little bit. But I think, yeah, you know, maybe they'll find a way. Maybe they'll like be like the first match or second match, and then he'll come back later and find a way to use it. You know, just
I mean, I would put that match on first. I think especially like the fact that you've got I don't there's a lot of talent in that lights out steel cage match, and I mean like for me personally like
too many.
I won't apologize. Like any chance I can see Tanahashi wrestle, I'm happy. So like that, it to me a lights out match has to be the main event. I don't like the concept of a lights out match at all in any circumstance. It's stupid, but you're not gonna like. What are you gonna turn the lights back on? And then like, okay, this event is sanctioned again from here on out. Like, so if that's the case, that the men's world title would not be on last. Put it on first. That's fine. And I will say too, as much as I hate Money in the Bank stuff, if there's anybody in the entire wrestling industry who should have a cheap cash in situation, it is Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
So they can get away with that with him much more than anybody else on the roster doing it.
Yeah, right in line with with him. You know, why not? You know,
but in that circumstance, let him win the belt. Let him actually take it. He can lose it again. But
while we're at it, let's go through the pay-per-view just give our thoughts on each of the matches. I will let you know that if you're going to order the pay-per-view, it's $49.99. You can get it at all your traditional pay-per-view television streaming platforms. The show coverage is interesting. Starts Sunday morning at 11:30 in the morning. That's because obviously the main card's not going to start until 1:00. So 1:00. So it's an early start. Another pay-per-view for AEW that starts very early and will be done.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
Sunday. You know, I'd rather them do it today if they could, but they're not. So right off the bat, I'm going to talk about, we have the tag match, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. You know, Christian is Adam's a-hole or whatever he said. And against Killswitch and Kip Sabian, unfortunately, an injury happened and we get Killswitch returning. You know, it takes a little luster off of this matchup, even though, you know, I mean, just a little bit, I think. What do you think, Rob?
No,
I mean, Nick Wayne, you know. Sure,
I wish I had some excitement for this match, but I don't know. I was much more looking forward to it. So much more looking forward to it when it was Nick Wayne instead of Killswitch / Luchasaurus. And that, I mean, Luchasaurus is talented and stuff, but I mean, to me, like that story is so far back in the past, like that Nick Wayne is the story now. So I don't know if we'll revisit things with him and Christian when Nick is healthy again, whatever, in that situation, but it's I don't know. This obviously ties in quite a bit as well with the tag title match and, you know, what the potential is for matches or title matches at All Out in a month in Toronto. But I think the only way I'm going to be like I don't know if there's anything that can get me into this Edge and Christian reunion, but I mean, if they can bust out some kazoos in a 5 second pose,
Kurt Angle
For the
come out.
benefit of those with flash photography, of
yeah,
course.
but I mean, then you gotta like hand out like cameras to people, right? Like, or tell people to turn the flash on their phone or something. Like, it's not gonna have the same thing. Be like, all right, we're 5 second pose, and then like, wait, did you guys take the picture? Nobody uses a flash in 2025. Oh, okay,
You know they're
you're
gonna
good.
do that. You know they're gonna do a 5 second pose or something. They'll work it in whether it's obvious or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this whole thing has been so. I guess maybe I give them credit for like this week having Christian still being like kind of heelish and hesitant and stuff,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being like, I'm a good guy now, but you know, I'm John Cena now. But it's
It was a
still,
bad dream. It was a bad dream.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know. There needs to be more to it. Obviously, I mean, I would say that there's 0% chance of I mean, obviously FTR could come out and cost them something, whatever, but I still say there's a 0% chance of Cope and Christian losing here, but I don't know. I'm not really excited for this match.
DC.
Yeah, same. Still feels forced, but like RT said, I'm glad they kind of let Christian maintain his heelish edge.
Uh,
I could honestly, I would honestly be okay with them losing
oh,
because I
I
think they could
absolutely would be okay
they
with them
could
losing.
play that
Yeah.
into they're still not quite on the same page thing.
Yeah, I think that they're going to do a run that's after this. You know,
I would
think
absolutely be okay with them not becoming AEW World Tag Team Champions too. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that will be overnight. That's for sure. But I think they're going to have a run at it. You know, if they're going to put them together,
oh, they're gonna win them.
it's kind of like a best of. You know, it's like it's like, hey, remember all that cool stuff we used to do? So we'll do. You know, you'll get the newer version of it now. So I don't know. You know what? They'll get the crowd going. That's for sure. You know, I think they're loved everywhere, and I'm sure they'll be very loud over in England, which is really weird. Isn't it weird that WWE and AEW are both crisscrossing the UK right
Oh,
now?
imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine AEW has the plans of doing their annual last bank holiday of the summer in the UK, and WWE is like, oh, hey, we'll see you there. Yeah, like, oh, you're running September 20th. Yeah, we'll run that day too. That's cool.
No, there's too much of this coincidence happening now.
There's no hiding it at this point.
Yeah, because
There's
now they've come out and announced that they're going to be in Australia, and it's like that was kind of something that AEW is holding off on announcing, but are going to very soon apparently. Then they figured they jumped the gun on it, and it's been obviously we talked about it last week a little bit about how it's like if you think that WWE doesn't think AEW's competition, you are completely wrong because of the way they're booking these things, and they have a lot of power over their broadcasts, which unfortunately AEW doesn't, or they would probably come back and do one against them, to get them back, like do like a Clash of the Champions or something on the same day as a WWE pay-per-view, like WCW used to do. That's how they used to fight back, is give free great nights, and they may still, but right now it's
Saturday night's main event.
Yeah,
the same Saturdays as AEW. Yeah.
Yeah, the Tony Khan says that someone asked him during the he had a media scrum the other day to promote obviously Forbidden Door, and he said he's not paying attention to anything they're doing. He's just doing what he's doing, which is probably the best thing to do, is not respond, or because like I said, WWE has a lot of power in their broadcasts, and they can like this whole WrestlePalooza crap thing. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But they booked that, and that's like a house show for all I can tell.
Not according to the ticket prices.
Yeah, not according to ticket prices.
Yeah, and it's going to have Cena versus Lesnar. So, I mean, I think they're going to go. I'm not going to say all out, but they're gonna try to put quite a bit out there on that. I will say from a graphic design perspective, I absolutely hate the WrestlePalooza graphics. You choose a name called like Palooza, and you think of like the ECW like look of WrestlePalooza and stuff, and it sounds like a party and all this stuff, and like it had like the graffiti logo and everything, and then it's like this like Star Warsy kind of like painting. Like what I don't get it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
But
Well, they're not even sure they like it. I heard they picked the name and now they want to change it, or they were like WrestlePalooza. That's kind of like a
the
circus.
name is fine, but like a palooza is not like if you go look at like the poster and stuff like that, like tell me that screams palooza to you. It doesn't.
I haven't seen this, and I feel like I need to pull it
Oh,
up.
now the amazing thing about the Palooza is, man, well, let's just get through this card, then we'll go back and talk about it because it is definitely an announcement for the PLEs. It has changed this past week, but so let's finish this card off and we'll go back and hit the news on that. But we've got next up, we got Darby Allin, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Tanahashi, and Ibushi versus Moxley, Nick Jackson, who were in the extras room a couple weeks ago, Gabe Kidd and Claudio in a lights out steel cage match. You've got 10 guys in the steel cage. First of all, that's a lot. I mean, you're getting them all on the card, obviously. There's a lot of people who have heat with each other. I'm sure it's going to come down to a 5-on-5 where each of the guys who's got a problem with the other guys is going to be one up with them and stuff. But that's a yeah. Well, lights out, man. They could not. Like you said, they couldn't do it at the beginning of the show because then you have to turn the lights back on. I mean, I'm sure they would anyways. It can't be any worse than that Mountain Dew freaking match WWE had.
Oh God.
But yeah, what do you think about this one? This is like a lot of different storylines being thrown into this, all at the same time, and hopefully Osprey, obviously Omega's not 100% either, but he'll be there. So, but it's got some intrigue to it. Maybe we can just get rid of Mox for a while after this. Something could happen where he gets injured or something.
No, he's gonna wrestle every single night. I mean, like his matches haven't been bad and stuff, like even after dropping the title or whatever, but like it's way too much. And I mean, fans were excited for potentially the end of the Death Riders, and this is far from the end of them. They're still everywhere. I don't know. This match, there are some of my favorite wrestlers in this match, and I just do not care about this match at all. I'm sure it's going to be great, but more than anything, I just want to see what kind of cage they're using for this.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be bigger than the ring, or is it going to be right up snug to the?
I hope it's bigger than the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is overseas, so they may be arranging to use somebody else's steel panels or something, or what. I don't know if they actually like travel their cage over for it. It's almost a situation where if you have enough room between the ropes and the cage, you almost should make it you have to tag in.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to put? And I mean, hopefully they traveled their actual ring there. It's not a situation like the Australia shows, because if you had an even smaller ring with 10 people in it, like, dear Lord, but
You'd be able to do nothing but chops.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll kind of wait and see, but to me, I guess like I expect that match is going to go on last, and there are so many other matches on this card that I would rather go on last.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm's probably top of the list. Yeah.
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 So, DC, have any thoughts on this one?
No, yeah. I follow the artiste, and we've been on the same page for months now. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when they announced it, the first thing I said is, "How the hell are you doing 10 guys in one ring?"
Yeah.
Like simultaneously, like because you see what isn't War Games is 4-on-4, right?
It's
Sometimes
usually 5-on-5.
sometimes
I mean,
it's 5-on-5.
sometimes, but
Yeah, it's fine.
traditionally
and
more
those two
5-on-5,
rings are still busy.
but yeah. I mean, 2 rings and you've got, yeah, it doesn't, and you also have staggered entrances too.
Yeah.
This is just like, okay, we got 10 people in the ring, ringing the bell. Like what? Like I just don't, unless you got like 8 guys at a time, just like clinging to the cage to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
I just,
I wonder if they'll have.
we'll see. They have to have some kind of plan for it. And I mean, like, maybe conveniently enough, like they've recently put up like the video of like when they did the Team ROH versus Team CZW back in the day, like the invasion angle, and they had the cage was really, when they set it up at the Armory in Philly, it was like cage panels that were I don't know, 5-10 feet away from the ring all the way around. Like you could do something like that, theoretically, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, there's people in this match I really like and stuff, but then there's also people in this match that I just either don't care about or I don't think need to be in this match. Um, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Like I know Gabe Kidd is like a star in the making in a lot of ways and stuff like that, but like just to throw him in main events here and there in AEW, like I feel like kind of devalues their roster a little bit. Ibushi out of nowhere in this match, and then we all know how I feel about Darby. So
Darby, he only appears when he needs to jump off the top of something on top of somebody. Like last week, he's like, "Oh, he's here."
Well, at least he's going to have 9 guys to catch him for his coffin drop off the top of the cage.
There we go.
I just hope it's not like, oh, okay, we're 60 seconds in the match and like, oh, the cage is magically opened and now this has turned into anarchy in the arena. And like, and barely anything happens in the cage the rest of the match. It's all around the arena kind of thing. Like, I really hope it's not a cheap thing like that. Like, you chose to book a steel cage match, so give us a steel cage match.
Then you went lights out, so they can pretty much do what they want. I'm guessing, they probably can sneak out of the cage, yeah, I don't know truly what a lights out is because you still have to have some sort of lights on. So
no, I mean you just flick the lights to indicate that the sanctioned show is over and now this is not AEW's responsibility or whatever, but the lights come back on and it doesn't count in the record books.
There we go.
But like, okay. It's the only way that they could get it to like get clearance for Will Ospreay to be in the match because they're not sanctioning it anyway. So
sure. Yeah, well, yeah, and he's going to, he's hurt. So next up, Kyle Fletcher, Takahashi for the TNT Championship. Takahashi being a New Japan, one of their big guys there. I mean, with that flowing hair, coming out all the time. He's like, if you ever watch the New Japan show, he's like involved in every main thing that's going on there. So kudos to him. It ought to be a fun match for the TNT Championship. I mean, I don't suppose they would take the titles off of Kyle Fletcher, but you never know. We'll find, but he's also
there's no chance.
He's got a gang behind him anyway, so
Yeah, I mean it's this I won't blame on like the booking or whatever. Like the natural situation of like somebody just got a belt, they're not losing it yet kind of thing that happens everywhere in wrestling. First real challenger or whatever, like is never gonna win and all that kind of stuff. Like I expect it'll be a good match, but I there's 0% chance of Takahashi winning this.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
You just told me.
There's 0% chance of
I'm sorry,
Takahashi winning this.
Oh, I heard you. I mean, I meant TBC. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, same. This is just a match to let, 2 guys showcase themselves, but yeah, that title isn't going anywhere.
Fletcher's awesome. I'm sure it'll be an awesome match with these 2 guys. So next up, we have a 4-way for the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné, Alex Windsor, Persephone, and Bozilla in a 4-way for the TBS Championship. Kind of, Mercedes has been used a lot in the build-up for the Tony Storm match coming up as well. But, I was a Mercedes down to like nine belts now.
She's up to 9 now, yeah.
Oh, she's up to 9, pardon me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm interested. It'd be a fun match. I mean, Mercedes has not had a bad match in AEW yet, I don't think. I mean, it really puts together a great match. So I'm guessing that
she's always going to have her haters, and those haters are, I mean, I don't know, for the haters to say stuff about like her actual bell to bell wrestling is just insane to me. She's the best bell to bell women's wrestler in the world right now. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. And this match, similar situation. I don't see any of the challengers having a true chance of winning this. Should be fun. Bozilla in the mix will be fun with some like kind of the height difference and everything and stuff.
It wasn't Bozilla in the crowd last week and just like was like I'm effing them all and stuff while they were sitting.
I thought that was Persephone.
Oh, maybe that was Persephone.
Yeah.
It was one of them. I knew that. It was like just sitting there shaking their head with a frown on their face the whole time. It's like,
So at least this match has got AEW and CMLL and Stardom like all in it. So therefore I'm not going to complain. It should be a fun match, and it actually feels like Forbidden Door in terms of the lineup of it. So
Yeah, definitely. And Alex Windsor's getting over big time now too. So I mean, enjoying Alex Windsor's work. So that'll be a lot of fun. We got the Hurt Syndicate versus FTR versus Brodito, which by the way, that FTR Brodito match was just an incredible match this past week. I enjoyed that immensely. I knew it was going to come down to a tie when they started reading or yelling out how much time was left on the clock. You know, it's like, oh, this is not going to end.
yeah, I really don't like when you do a tournament and then the tournament ends in a draw.
Yeah.
Just doesn't sit right with me whenever you do that. It seems cheap. But I don't know. This match to me is kind of weird. I agree. Like I've really been liking what Brodito has been doing. But why is this a three-way? Like we can all make assumptions and stuff, including potentially Hurt Syndicate dropping
Yeah.
the belts without getting pinned.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why, you know, you bring in two other guys who can take the pin, and is that what they're worried more about anything is losing being pinned? Because I mean, this is the explanation of how they can lose without being pinned, and then you know they don't lose any luster, I guess. You know,
I really like Shelton Benjamin as a wrestler. That's kind of the extent of what I have to say about the Hurt Syndicate positively.
Bob, not so much. Bob's getting
No, I mean like Bobby's got like he works as like a powerhouse like heavyweight singles guy. MVP I honestly never really cared for. But I mean Shelton's incredibly athletic, and I think every time he's been actually in a match in AEW, it's been great. It doesn't feel like it's happened very often that he's been in matches and stuff. I just I don't know. This whole thing like is kind of starting to rub people the wrong way with them. If this is truly like we're not gonna lose and this stuff and that stuff, and I don't really want to see FTR as champs again. Maybe it would be less than a month title reign. Which I mean, I like I like that they switched up and are doing the heel thing. That I think was very needed, and I like Stokely in that mix as well. But I mean,
Big
I don't know.
Stoke.
Big Stoke, yes. If there's no chance of it happening, but like if you could just go with like the hot team at this point, just give it to Brodito, but it's not going to happen. FTR walks away as champs. So
Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, and that's one of the ones that they had proposed were supposed to win it from them was it All In? I think it was, or I can't remember. Was it All In? But nevertheless, that's the one that they also, they nixed, you know, they said, no, we don't want to go that way. So,
well, and I will say this, there's like people were talking about like the MVP stuff specifically is him like kind of being this like mouthpiece behind the scenes for them as well. And obviously there were the rumors of him and Speedball, which Speedball kind of helped
that video
deflate those a little bit.
Yeah.
But the word is that it's really one of the other members of the Hurt Syndicates that has the problem with putting people over and stuff, and it's disappointing because that rumor, which you can't verify, is the person I just said is the one that I like to watch wrestle in that group. So,
oh, really? Interesting. You know, a guy also who has more wrestling. He worked for WWE longer than any of those other guys did. That's for sure. You know, I mean,
You think that's a product of just him being misused and mistreated for so long?
it might be.
probably,
It really
yeah.
might be being protective. I mean, yeah, it
I
could
mean,
be.
Dolph
And,
Ziggler's the same way, kind of. You know, he was like same kind of. You know, he'd go over and put over the best people in the other company. You know, and make them look
when
great.
he himself was a fantastic wrestler, just
Exactly.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Shelton Benjamin. Yep.
Yeah.
I
Reminds
mean,
me a lot of how they were treated.
no, I can get being a little protective after what they've gone through for decades, but I don't know. Wait and see what happens.
So next up, this is going to be a good one. Hopefully, if Swerve's not hurt too bad, we go Okada versus Swerve Strickland. Okada, clutch performer with New Japan as well as coming here to AEW. Swerve Strickland, as long as he's not putting like a power drill through someone's cheek or anything, I'm happy to see, because he's an incredible chain wrestler out there as well. So this ought to be a good one for the AEW Unified Championship. I don't know if it's that important to Okada. It's just one of the props that he walks around with, but he's like, he could definitely move up into like the heavyweight bracket, I think. So, I don't know. What do you think about this one, DC?
I had different thoughts before hearing about the Swerve injury.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like that kind of ruined some of the suspense and momentum for that match. I still think it'll be a good match, but I don't see Swerve walking away with a win if he's going to be on the shelf for a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, he's somebody that could. It would make sense if you really want to establish this as a secondary like top title, which I don't know if I'm ever going to buy into that. If they want to do that, I only want there to be one top title. The same way that I don't want to consider the TBS title to be the same as the women's world title.
Yeah.
But it sounds like I mean, this could just be people trying to swerve people that like, oh, Swerve's not going to win. And I mean, he would be a great pick for the next champion if healthy, and all that stuff. And honestly, this Okada reign, I don't know. I like Okada a lot, but it's just there's not enough going on with him. He's not around enough. It's not. To me, it's just not working. It's not doing anything for him at this point. And he needs like a real feud with week after week, like segments and stuff. Like it's just not, it just feels like I can't even say he's just there. It's like he's just there once in a while kind of thing. And like has a really good match and like but it's not, there's nothing there to it. So I don't know. I'm assuming that Okada's
no
just going to retain.
interactions with anybody. It's hard to say who's going to be his next opponent after this.
Yeah.
I did have one thought for a next opponent, but it would require someone to return.
I was gonna say I like when Okada was like not even following Callis, kind of like not being on the same page for a little bit. They did, and then they've kind of dropped that since then. But I think, I don't know. I'm hoping that he becomes more prominent because he is like probably the best wrestler from New Japan, I believe, or one of the best ones to come from New Japan to AEW. And it's like he had such a resume coming in, unless he's like seeing it's time to earn some money or something, and work less. But
maybe you guys can tell me if I'm nuts, but I feel like a program between Okada and Eddie Kingston would be money.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. And, and Eddie is.
I would agree with that. I mean, especially if Eddie can be like, who you called a bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope that Eddie's been teasing it a little bit more and stuff. I mean,
I saw some training videos and stuff. So obviously he's just, he's in his way coming back. Who knows? Could be this weekend eventually. I don't know. That'd be great. He'd definitely be welcome on the mic, definitely to come back. And speaking of mic work, the next match, IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. Didn't think Nigel was going to get that, but I'm happy he did. I mean, obviously Nigel.
Oh, come on. As soon as they announced him for that match, you're like, yeah, there's your winner.
Especially because it's in England and because Nigel wrestles on.
And you don't use a guy like that in a potential qualifying match without the intent to use
and
it.
then not give the fans the dream match that is possible if Nigel wins that 4-way. Yeah, it was always Nigel, and it's always going to be Zack Sabre Jr. winning this match.
Yes.
But I'm still really looking forward to this match.
Yeah, this is definitely good. I mean, Nigel definitely has got a few matches left in him. We learned that when he took on Bryan Danielson, as well as that 4-way.
Well, he better have some matches left in him for a feud after somebody turns on him tomorrow. So
interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that's what's happening. I have no inside knowledge of that, but I don't know why you wouldn't do that if you've set it up this way. And then we can get McGinnis and Garcia, which I'm all about. So
Yeah, it seems like, yeah, see, the whole him like lifting Garcia's hand after he won and everything, or after he'd won the nod. Yeah, I definitely could see it. That'd be great. I think that would, they just signed Garcia's buddy for put him back on for another 5-year contract or whatever. So
oh, Daddy Magic. Yeah.
yeah, Daddy Magic, I don't know if they're gonna
It's
make
kind of strange. A 5-year deal for a guy that you never put in matches. You just throw him on commentary once in a great while on the show. Like you don't have as many shows as you used to have where you could put him on commentary.
true.
And I don't know. I mean, good for Matt getting that contract, like get paid, but I don't know. I was a little surprised that like of all people, like he gets like a 5-year deal. Like what?
I figured when they took him off when he had stopped announcing that maybe he was either gone or they're retooling his deal or something. And he, well, obviously,
Well, especially because they haven't brought Jeff back, like with or what the hell's his name now? Cool Hand Ange.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean, like I don't know. Like, I'm assuming that tag. I mean, maybe they'll team up randomly here and there in the future at some point, but um, it seems like they haven't really been a part of the active tag division in a very long time. So.
true. Next up, for the AEW Women's Championship, Tony Storm versus Ring of Honor World Champion Athena. That I like the build up. I like what Athena's doing. I like Athena, as someone to back Athena as well and maybe help with this match against Tony Storm. Now, I know you mentioned earlier, Rob, that it would be great if maybe Athena could walk away with this title. Tony Storm, though, has like a Hulk Hogan mode. You can see it in the matches when all of a sudden Tony starts doing these things with that. You could see the end of the match coming, and it's like that's how they're booking Tony, like to sit there and sell and sell and sell, and then all of a sudden get angry. And not to say that it's the same as Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan always had this, would wrestle for 15 minutes and then he would hit the go home switch, and not to say that Tony Storm's like, it's that obvious, but it's like all of a sudden you see her like selling things, and it's like, okay, but I love Tony Storm, and I think, we should stick with a hot hand. We'll see what happens. I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
I don't think it happens tomorrow, but I would very much like for Athena to be the person who does beat Tony for that belt. Just if it's not tomorrow, it's not tomorrow. I think that this is something where there should be, I don't want to see a ton of shenanigans tomorrow on the pay-per-view, but I feel like this is something that should involve Billy Starks trying to get involved and Mina Shirakawa shutting that down. And I think Mina should be involved significantly in kind of helping Tony overcome whatever to retain. Athena obviously defends the ROH women's title in what is that, a week at Final Battle, or not Final Battle, at Death Before Dishonor against Mina, which Athena should win that as well because she needs that win to hit 1,000 days as champion, and that would be absolutely stupid to not hit that when you're already at 981 or whatever it is now.
Everybody laughed when I said that about Roman Reigns a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, just keeping it
Yeah,
for the numbers. You're right.
but no, I mean, I think Tony wins with other people involved and stuff. I think Athena beats Mina next week, and then eventually we get to the point where Athena can drop the ROH belt maybe to Mina. Athena can take the AEW belt from Tony. Maybe that's like Full Gear or something. And then at some point it turns into we finally go back to Athena and Mercedes with belts involved. And maybe Athena still has the ROH belt at that point. I mean, that would make sense too, with Mercedes trying to collect belts or whatever. Athena could be a double champion at that point, but I don't expect a title change tomorrow.
Okay, Mina what was Mina's injury? Why was she out?
Broken hand, I believe.
Okay, that's right, and she's back now. Obviously, she came back. So,
Yeah.
but Yeah, so interesting. And then last but not least, Hangman Page, MJF, AEW World Championship title can change hands on a count out or a disqualification. So it makes it uh easier to lose.
I kind of, being reminded of that part of it, I kind of want MJF to win by count out and become champion or something. Like, I kind of, as much as I hate that, I despise that. And I literally had this conversation. Actually, it would have been 18 years ago today that one Corey Graves, then known as Sterling James Keenan, became the final Ballpark Brawl natural heavyweight champion, winning by double count out over Rikishi and Samoa Joe.
Rikishi ain't gonna lose, huh?
Because Rikishi wouldn't lose. We don't have to hide that at this point. And Samoa Joe couldn't, thanks to TNA. So that's the ultimate heel. And you could get away with it too if it's like the opening match or something as well. But if you've got that stipulation, like I don't. If MJF, I assume that Hangman holds on tomorrow. But if MJF were to win tomorrow, I don't want to see him win by pin. I want to see him win in the cheapest way possible. That's the stipulation. So
maybe Wardlow will come back and like hold Hangman Page outside the ring for the 10 count.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just
yeah. At this point, I mean, some of these people have been gone for like years and years.
We got Luchasaurus, so it's like
that's exactly who I'm also thinking of in this. Yes.
Yes,
like I've moved on as a viewer. I don't know, but
where's Jack Perry?
Yeah, where's Jack Perry? That's what
that's a good question.
He must have a bad injury or something. I don't know what's going on.
My problem with this whole match, and it's kind of something Artiste was mentioning earlier, with the whole creative direction where it's kind of been lacking, coming out of Texas. I don't like. I think MJF winning would have made sense if we now aren't looking at putting Swerve and Ospreay on the shelf. But I also don't know who would be next for Hangman. Like, there's no natural person like waiting in the wings, I don't think.
Maybe you'd have to take a face and have him,
that's the problem when you have too many titles, because immediately I want to be like Kyle Fletcher. Oh wait, he has a belt. Oh, Okada. No, he has a belt. Everybody's got a belt, Oprah style, but it's
Kenny Omega, Darby Allin, one of those guys,
Kenny's not 100%. I just no, we need to, if Darby has to be wrestling matches, let him do his Moxley feud without a belt involved. I just anything we can conveniently do, whether it's another Everest trip, whether it's whatever, like anything we can do to just keep Darby away from the belt more and more, I'm going to be happy. That's conveniently worked these last couple of years. Like, let's keep doing that kind of stuff.
You want him to get hurt skateboarding or something?
I'm not advocating for anybody to get injured. No, but like if he wants to go do a live version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skate or whatever, like, go do it. Yeah, absolutely, have fun.
I did see another billionaire wants to go down and view the wreckage of the Titanic. So,
oh boy,
what?
Not that I'm advocating for that, but
you gotta watch out for those.
He's been to the top of the world. Now he's going to go to the bottom.
Oh boy, yeah. Watch out for the imploding subs.
We've already had our billionaire sacrifice this summer, so.
There's not a president that never mind.
I want to go down there. Yeah. So yeah, that
I don't know if he'd fit in a submersible.
Yeah, not his head wouldn't, certainly,
One part of him would.
So on that note, we there's our thoughts on Forbidden Door, which is tomorrow on pay-per-view, 1:00 it starts. I'm
hoping that there's some decent 0-hour announcements during Collision tonight. Not that we need a million matches or whatever, but if you're doing your 0 hour and a half, there's a lot of people on this roster that just don't have anything tomorrow. A lot of your really top stars too. I mean, makes me think even of like Ricochet could be in the mix on stuff. I mean, Ricochet could theoretically be a next Hangman contender.
Yeah, well, I think do you think he might have something to do with the MJ? Didn't MJF have some relation?
Yeah, I don't want to see every one of these matches have other people get involved just to be involved, just to have a pay-per-view appearance, whatever the case is. But I mean, to me, it's kind of weird if he has no spot on the show tomorrow whatsoever.
Am I
So
nuts in thinking there has to be some kind of fallout with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate? Because otherwise, what
you
was the
would
point
think
of
they
that?
would. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a very
I
The
still wanted to
question,
see a world where like MJF costs them the titles, and then in turn, I mean, MVP said it, like you do something, Bobby's coming after you.
you just got to be very careful with that because in that situation, like making sure that Hurt Syndicate look like baby faces with that. If there was a term, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels a little forced to me that MJF is the number one contender right now, to be honest. It doesn't seem it seems kind of like a place filler to me. And like so obviously his thought process right now is not focused on the Hurt Syndicate, but like why did we do that if it was just gonna be like, okay, it's done.
Right.
Again, John Cena turning babyface. Like do something with it. So maybe they could do something along those lines. I don't know.
yeah, there's going to be probably a few surprises. Do you think there's uh, any major surprises, or are we going to get like freaking
Well, could Lashley be pissed
Rizzler? The
off because
Rizzler?
Lashley loses the tag belts,
Yeah.
right? Uh, and then Lashley like takes out frustration on MJF, costs him the match or
I heard
whatever.
that they wanted to
Lash
do him. They wanted to run Lashley as a singles. I heard something about that recently. Maybe it was just some rumors or what, but they feel that that he. I mean, would he be a contender for the heavyweight title? I think so. I mean, he's obviously been a champion other places,
to
but
plenty of people, they would be
yeah,
happy
I
with that.
would, I would, I think he would need to go for the unified title first.
Yeah,
I don't think you can just throw him in world title. But immediately I'm thinking, okay,
I think you
we
could,
get
but
the
it's gonna be
tag
another
titles off
place
of them.
filler.
You can make them singles.
yeah,
Like, give me Shelton Benjamin and Kyle Fletcher right now.
Give me Hangman and Shelton.
yeah.
I mean,
I'd much rather
yeah.
see Shelton in these matches than Bobby.
Shelton and Kyle Fletcher, absolutely. Please give me that yesterday. Like, yes. The only thing, like, I'm slightly hesitant to break them up as a team just because of how the tag division has just been lacking so much that at least like they do feel like an established tag team at this point. But I could easily see once they drop the belts not tagging anymore. Um, I don't know. I mean, what I don't know. I don't know what I can even. I almost can see them not even being around after dropping the tag belts, but I know they've got multi-year deals and stuff, so have to figure something out.
Yeah, and you probably could break off Lashley from the whole group in general and just keep MVP with Shelton. I'm guessing if they wanted to do that and maybe have like those guys feud or something for like a first big move. But that is just fantasy booking. I'm sure that's what Tony Khan has to deal with backstage all the time. You know, it's like,
Well, as long as they just don't put Leo Rush back with Lashley, then we're good.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't need that. So, on that note, that is our Forbidden Door look at. There's a couple things that I want to talk about before we get to. I ripped through the news, and I think one of the things was last week we talked about Naomi being pregnant. Well, it wasn't no surprise; she was pregnant, and she put the belt down. They have not made any announcements about what they're doing with the women's belt. WWE. We'll find that out Monday, I'm guessing. But it was not, it was like the world's worst kept secret. As soon as they said she wasn't, apparently she wrestled at SummerSlam pregnant, and it was like, I mean, you can, I mean, as long as I mean, wrestling is it physical? Yes, but you really kicking people in the guts? No, not really. So I think. But I think that was kind of like a big question mark that we found out on Monday. It was like, congrats to them. Unfortunately, Naomi's best run in WWE ends with a pregnancy, which is kind of a bummer because it was her best run, I think, because even when she was like the Divas champion, I think that because they had two women's belts back then, I didn't think it was that big a deal,
That would have been a much better segment and moment had they not had to freaking shoehorn Stephanie McMahon's ass in there.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I don't care about
Like, I have an announcement. Let's go to Stephanie. Like,
yeah,
You mean how everything these days has to have Triple H
has
in
to
it?
involve them? Yes.
Everything, every video pack. Oh, WWE's going to ESPN. Who's the first face you see? Triple H.
Yeah.
Who's going to
he's the
voice over this thing? Triple H. Who's going to start this pay-per-view in the ring? Triple H.
Right. I mean, WrestleMania and SummerSlam, both first nights were started by Triple H, and both second nights were started by Stephanie McMahon. So it was, I mean, they don't probably have to do much convincing, I guess, of TKO since they're the experts in wrestling, but I don't care. It doesn't bring any prestige to me to have those folks out there. I mean, especially after they had their vacation picture in Greece or whatever it was, where they look like just normal people, out in the sun on a boat, and it was like it all comes back to Vince, I guess, in one way or the other. His feelers are still involved in the company, whether it be his children or who knows what. But yeah, I thought that was dumb, and I'm glad it's over with. And unfortunately, I like Naomi. I think she did a great job. She's been wrestling fantastic since she came back from TNA that year she spent in TNA, and now she gets the 9-month injury.
I did like people though coming up with mock-ups of new merch for Jimmy.
Did you see that she was standing on the Slim Jim freaking sign and they're pointing down at Jim? Yeah.
Did either of you see the red shirt making the rounds that someone photoshopped on Jimmy
What is
with
that?
the whole yeet text, but instead it was skeet.
Oh boy, no, didn't see that one.
No. Yow.
Uh,
Okay, well, and last thing we're going to talk about before I get to the news. Chris Jericho. What? I don't care.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't.
It is best for every single party involved in this conversation for Chris Jericho to pop back up in WWE. It is best for WWE. It is best for Chris Jericho. It is best for AEW. It's best for the fans of WWE. It's best for the fans of AEW. There is zero reason to not make this be reality. There's nothing for him to do in AEW at this point. He aside from accept the Hall of Fame thing whenever that day comes, because he was the guy in year one to get them off the ground. But there's nothing left for him there. No AEW fans don't want to see him anymore. WWE fans will be pumped to see him pop back up as a surprise at the Rumble or whatever. Like,
well, that's what he said. His contract runs out in October.
There's literally no reason for this not to happen. And if I'm Nick Khan, which God I would never want to be, like, I'd be happy. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm happy. Like, to me it makes too much sense.
Yeah, I mean, and there's two companies. There's two major companies, and when you're stagnant in one, power to you. Go to the other one. I mean, I don't think that he'd be wrestling much because I mean he's obvious. I mean he's aged, okay, and it's been more evident in the last couple of years than it was before when he first started AEW. So I think that they probably would use him in sporadic moments, maybe as a manager or something. I don't know. I can't imagine him wrestling like a heavy schedule because I mean he's got his band still, and I think they just came off tour they were in England. So I'm not saying anything.
I mean, if I'm them, I don't want him wrestling a heavy schedule. Like, he's probably going to want a long-term deal and stuff. I would kind of just want him for the Rumble thing and then figure out a Mania match for him or whatever. But like, he doesn't need to be wrestling every week.
Give him Fandango.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's like the only one that was on the bright side of that when they're talking about it in past tense. He's like, no, it was a terrible thing, but so who knows? I mean, I don't know if that would be fun, but it's like, he definitely would come back and he even suggested, I think, or someone suggested that he would show up in the Royal Rumble. So that's off until January or whatever, unless they make the Royal Rumble 2 days. Hopefully not.
Day 2 starts with 25 people already in the ring.
I could see them doing like the women's on one day and the men's on another, but man, SummerSlam, they overestimated the crowd, which I saw it was WrestleMania. They overestimated.
WWE inflating their numbers? What?
Yeah, huh? Yeah. So I saw that the real they weren't that much different, but it was still less than what they were saying. So I'm sure the same with SummerSlam is going to happen too. And I don't necessarily. And that's the thing. Apparently, I might as well jump into the news. Apparently, because they have one extra day for WrestleMania and one extra day for SummerSlam, that they fulfilled their requirements for Peacock's PLEs that they had guaranteed, and that's why this September 20th, WrestlePalooza that they just announced will be the first ESPN pay-per-view or paper PLE, and they will have no more pay-per-views on Peacock as of September. So you can cancel Peacock if you need to, folks, because there will.
Yeah, I mean, Love Island doesn't come back till June, so
You can just do what I do, like with Spotify. I only subscribe to it during the Derby
What?
season.
Spotify.
I only
Like, oh, this is the month I'm gonna listen to music, and then the rest of the
no.
year I'm just gonna sit in silence.
I don't listen. No, because I can listen. There's so many. I mean, there's so many. I have an iPod, so, but I only use it for roller derby music, and so I only they give me this playlist, and I have to have Spotify to play it on my phone through the PA system. So I only use Spotify for like 3 months or a year, and then I cancel, and then I re-up it again when the next time I need to be able to run things without commercials between them. So, but that's the same with Peacock. It's like Peacock, if you can, it's $10 a month now. They just jacked the price on it too. So it's a good time to get rid of it. And, but they haven't really made the app yet for ESPN. I'm not really sure what, I mean, they're putting the cart before the horse kind of right now, I think, because
Got to be coming soon.
yeah, isn't it isn't it they said there was going to be a special app for ESPN, or whatever, they're getting rid of the plus and so well, it'll debut soon then, I'm guessing, but with that news, I'm going to jump right into the news because that was one of the things I wanted to bring up was if you have Peacock, there's no more, they will still be having NXT pay-per-views though on Peacock, and apparently there's one this weekend. I think they're an NXT one, but I don't know. I get confused now because when I'm watching like TNA,
Are they gonna make Mariah May go out there and praise WWE for 3 hours? Is that their pay-per-view? I don't know.
have her lose again, and no, it's interesting. So the news came out this past week that WWE's run on NBC has reportedly come to an end. Sports Illustrated reported via social media that Saturday night's main event will stream 4 times per year exclusively on Peacock. So you do need Peacock for that. The WWE Network, quote unquote, will stay on Peacock through the end of the year. In fact, there'll be no more Saturday night's main events on television like we saw in the past. You have to watch it on Peacock, and all the PLEs will be moved to ESPN early. They're starting, like I said, in September. ESPN didn't buy out the remainder of their deal. Peacock said, "Go ahead." They said, "We're fine with it. You can leave." So maybe they were just done with WWE. I don't know, done with that portion of it. But who knows? Like I said, the NXT pay-per-views our PLEs will still remain on Peacock until March 2026. So you got at least a few more of those going on. But that was kind of big news, I think, because besides the fact that they're just trying to block you from watching AEW pay-per-views, because that's when All Out is, and by the fact that up in Toronto is the same day, and it's like I said, All Out had way more time to let people know what they're doing before WWE on the whim did it this past week or announced it this past week. So hopefully it doesn't bite too much into their numbers for the pay-per-view. But they already have some great matches already announced for that, or they will be soon, I'm guessing. But I don't, it's getting down to the nitty gritty with them competing with AEW. And it's funny is like for the longest time, I bet you they wouldn't even admit to it now. They wouldn't say that was, strictly done to go up against AEW, but it's obvious, it's like over the last couple of weeks, some of the things they've done, it's like, I think that they definitely feel that there's an AEW crowd there. Why would they take people and let them use their same names from AEW? So, WWE is a little worried. We'll just say there's a little worried right now. And let me get into some other news. So let's see. WWE. Oh, and if you're going to watch Raw this week, it's a 3 p.m. start on Monday because they are going to be on the other side of they're going to be over in Europe because they have this Paris pay-per-view next weekend. But let me tell you what's going on. If you're going to watch AEW Collision tonight, we've got Takeshita versus Ishii. That's going to be exciting. That's cool. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson or whatever they're going by this week versus Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly.
The
We
graphic they produced for that match is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, I think I think they're with this Young Bucks thing. I love what they're doing with it. So that I like when they take things away. Unfortunately, they took out Justin Roberts last week. Or I don't is it a bad thing? I don't know. Like I said, maybe Tool is on tour, so he's got to go out and announce for them or whatever. Takahashi, Scorpio Sky, Dante Martin, and Darius Martin versus Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Chiro and Rocky Romero in an 8-man tag, just to get you excited for the pay-per-view. Matt and a lot of those guys, most of those guys aren't on the pay-per-view, so they're getting a match on the Saturday before. Got a match involving wrestlers from Skyflight and the Callis family, and Max Caster holds his open challenge. That's tonight, 8 p.m. on that would be on TNT if you want to catch that. It's funny is I got previews for all the shows going on this next week. By the way, that Collision was taped in Glasgow at the Hydro, and it will simulcast on HBO Max as well. Definitely don't want to check that out. If you're going to watch Raw this week coming up, we've got Roman Reigns opening the show, Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, Penta versus Kofi Kingston. Those are the matches so far announced for Monday Night Raw. That will be at 3 p.m. Well, I'll remind you one more time. And the last time they did one of these 3 p.m. deals, I completely forgot. Got home, turned it on after work, and it ended. And it's like, wait a second, I'm an idiot. Because I didn't even take my own advice. Also, SmackDown this week, if you're going to watch it, we got Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn for the U.S. Championship, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Piper Niven and Alba Fry for the women's tag team titles, and the Street Profits versus the Miz and Carmelo Hayes for a shot at the WWE tag team titles. Miz and Carmelo are getting kind of a little bit of a push, but I don't know as much as Street Profits. I guess we'll find out. That will be from Lyon de Cines, France, on Friday. So there's still going to be, obviously, that'll be the last one before the pay-per-view in Paris going on next weekend, which I'm sure we'll be doing the pre-show for, possibly. The official date for John Cena's last pro wrestling match it will end his pro wrestling career will take place December 13th, I believe, at the last Saturday night's main event of the year. I think it won't be on NBC, so it's going to be a Peacock thing. That's interesting that they make all that change and everything. And then now, unless you have Peacock, you're not going to be able to see John Cena's last match. So might be a way for them to
that might have been part of the deal for Peacock to let them like do the ESPN thing now, be like, all right, well, give us John Cena's last match. And WWE's like, oh, we're going to get billions from ESPN. So sure.
Yeah, that's true. So that's December 13th. So keep that in mind. If you want to watch John Cena's last match, it will not be on NBC. They also have a Saturday night main event on November 1st. I believe that will also be, let's see right. It says it's yet to be, it hasn't been announced yet, but it's, there's widespread assumption that Cena's retirement match will be, okay, Boston in the TD Garden. So that's where the 13th is apparently. So obviously that's his home, sort of, I guess, close enough to being home. But interesting, a lot of things juggling around with, these apps or, now the wrestling is on all these apps and everything. And I think the biggest piece of news from this past week from WWE was the kicking their PLAs to the ESPN platform, WrestlePalooza, on Saturday, September 20th from the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Is going to be the very first matches on ESPN. Very first show that will be on ESPN. We're not sure exactly how it's going to happen, but we'll find out pretty soon. I'm guessing they'll probably have to debut this app or whatever soon. Danhausen made the news this past week. He remains under contract to AEW with additional time reportedly tacked on due to an injury. However, he's said to have asked the company not to renew his deal, citing the lack of regular use. There are people within WWE who express interest in Danhausen, including TKO Billard member Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Those pushing for him believe his unique gimmick would be a strong fit for the brand. What do you guys think about that? Danhausen, will he go good with the Iguana dude, Mr. Iguana? Mr. Iguana, who's been on TV twice now with WWE and had two botches, one botch in each match. Though I did like the thing from AAA where the Beast puppet came out
The
against
demon.
the Demon. That's right, the Demon puppet from Finn Balor. But what do you think? You think Danhausen would do better in WWE? You guys have any
No.
thoughts on that?
I don't.
I don't. I don't know. I mean,
WWE doesn't know
I-
how to use a guy like that.
no. I mean, I guess I would say why not? I mean, there's no reason for AEW to not let him go at this point if he's asking to go. They haven't used him in years, and I don't know. Maybe WWE can do something briefly with him. He can reunite with. I like Danhausen a lot, but maybe he can
He's
reunite with
friends.
his stupid friend there.
He's friends with Punk because they have freaking do videos together and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's doing his indie thing and stuff, and there's no reason. Like, I mean, good that he's still been getting a paycheck, but like, just if he's asking, like, hey, can you not extend this? Like, you're not going to use me. Like, just don't extend it. Like, it's the same. I'm going to criticize WWE when they do that. I'm going to criticize AEW when they do that. It doesn't make sense to me. But
Well, and there's been people who have done that as well, and they know
I'll tell you, I definitely would rather watch him do anything than Mr. Iguana. But
Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana, yeah. If you watch the last Botchamania, Mr. Iguana's botch is in there nice and good. There's actually some really good stuff in the last episode of Botchamania. So it's a fun show to watch, but it's like, especially, they like ripping on Taz though. But and speaking of Taz, he's not going to be there this weekend. He wasn't there this past week for Dynamite. He won't be there for Collision or the pay-per-view because of the surgery he's had in his knees, that possibly he doesn't want to, pressure changes in flights sometimes cause, blood clots that are very bad. So I'm guessing he doesn't even want to chance it. And he's smart. Yeah, I wouldn't either, I wouldn't
they
risk
got enough announcers. I mean, I
Yeah.
like Taz on commentary, but I mean, that makes sense.
So Jim Ross is reportedly considering a return to WWE. Ross has been with AEW for several years, though his appearances have been limited recently due to health issues. I don't think his health issues are going to change if he changes companies. Okay. And he did have a battle with cancer as well, but backstage talks in AEW suggest that Ross would like to close out his career in WWE with his current AEW contract set to expire at the end of this month. Ross is scheduled to be part of the commentary team for this Sunday's AEW versus New Japan Forbidden Door, which could potentially mark his final broadcast for AEW. So that'd be interesting. I mean, he doesn't seem. I mean, yes, there's a nostalgic perspective of it, but I don't think you'd see him that often if he signed like a Legends contract or something with WWE. He'd be there for maybe the pre-show commentary or something. I don't know. What do you think on that, Rob? You think? I mean, obviously he does see the end of his career coming. So,
I don't know. It's like he's already in their Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't really see a point to it. I don't know. I feel like he's best for just doing his podcast now and like maybe doing like the interviews randomly or something, but I don't know. I don't think that I don't see where WWE would fit him in.
just
in
maybe as a
2025.
maybe as a Legends contract, and he'd do like a signing at WrestleMania or something. You know, they do a lot of that. The guys with those legend contracts, you never see them on TV, and they have like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They make him come out and do signings at WrestleMania week and stuff. I mean, but he doesn't really ever get a camera or anything. And by the way, if you guys remember last week, I was talking about Bret Hart not being happy because he got invited to SummerSlam and there wasn't a chair for him. Apparently, there wasn't one for Kevin Nash either. So Kevin Nash goes, "Suck it up, Buttercup. I didn't get one either." So or something like that. I'm sure but he did make a point that and so maybe he would get a chair at something. If they look, it's Jim Ross in the audience.
I can't blame these guys. I mean, if you're making me travel all the way into your stupid pay-per-view and like
Yeah.
you're not even giving me a place to watch it, like
Well, they were telling him he was going to be one of the guys put on camera when they went to the crowd, and we did see people like Stephanie McMahon, which I maybe not necessarily, we don't need to see her after she started the show after that, but she still had a seat in the crowd. So, it's like other people's parents in the front row and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I understand if they invited him, but they probably had a seat for him. It was probably just a backstage area, or to watch on monitors, which we all know that's no fun.
that's the same type of thing that I complain about.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, "Oh, you want to like come down and commentate the show in Erie from behind the curtain or whatever?" Like, what? Like, can I just do it in post? Like, if I'm not actually looking at the physical ring, I don't need to be there. Like, I digress.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's like I'd rather, it's kind of like remember when we had that TNA show in Rochester, and like, the only way we could watch it was around the curtains in the back, and it was like, we could have went out and grabbed a seat someplace, but we wanted to hang around with Jeff Jarrett because he was like freaking peeking through the curtains, and other wrestlers were too, Mickey James, and I don't know. Yeah, there's like a fun aspect about being backstage, but definitely not
if you're Bret Hart or Kevin
not when you
Nash.
work there. Yeah, not when
Yeah.
you've been there, and that's where you spend
No.
most of your time, your whole career. So yeah, I get it.
No, I'd still rather be. I mean, in situations I've been like that, I still want to be out in the crowd watching the actual show. That's what I did in Buffalo last year. I mean, yeah, it's not. Just go. It's the same time. Just go home and watch it. Then at that point, like I don't want to go to a hockey game and watch it on a TV up in um. I mean, even there's been situations like that with like March Madness, where like, oh, these people's credentials, like you just have to be back in the media room and watch it on TV. Like, so I got to fly to Denver and like be in a room watching on TV. Like, why don't I just stay in my hotel room? Like, what? Like, this is dumb.
Yeah, that reminds me of like when I did UFC in Buffalo, and they had like the seats for the UFC event were in the press box seats in the Buffalo, is it Five Star Bank? I can't remember, whatever the bank, KeyBank Center.
Yeah.
And I was so far away from the action. It was like they were like, and it's like, and they gave me an opportunity to sit in the back and watch it on the TV or watch it from those seats. And it's like, neither of them were a good choice, But when at least when you sat down backstage, they were bringing out the fighters who just fought to do press conferences and stuff. So that was cool. Looks like we lost DC for the rest of the day. Thank you, DC, for being there. I got one more thing, and then we'll get out of here. I know we were going long. Dustin Rhodes had his surgery on both his double knee replacements this past week. Posted a shot from him in the hospital recovery room. Kudos to him. You know what? If he can come back, I give him a lot of credit because I mean this is his life. Even if he's not wrestling on TV, he still trains. Still is. He has a school and everything. So. Cool. Kudos to him. And one last piece of news, then we'll get out of here. Gabe Stevenson, the guy who was wrestling for NXT, I know he was signed to NXT. I don't know if I ever saw him wrestle. He might have wrestled once. He's gearing up for his long-awaited mixed martial arts fighting debut, and that's coming up. He was trained by John Jones from the UFC. Obviously, has local connections here in Rochester. His pro MMA fight debut is next month. He'll be his first fight at LFA 217, which I'm not really sure what that is. I thought, and it's scheduled for September 12th. It'll take place. He's taking on a guy named Braden Peterson, 1-0 in 3-round bout. it'll stream live on the UFC Fight Pass. So there you go. Gable Stevenson, the guy who was a Olympic wrestler who signed with WWE, and they just never found space for him, and he just never got it. So he's going back to what he could do, which is, mixed martial art, fight, wrestling, whatever. Hopefully John Jones taught him some stand up. But that's it for the news today. Rob, anything going on? I saw that we did have an announcement. ESW, maybe that was an announcement, was it? That they've got show coming, a couple of shows, one coming up in where did I see?
Well, the next show is September 26th in Niagara Falls. And then after that, there's a ESW Presents show, like a week from tomorrow down in the southern tier. I think near Jamestown or whatever. But ESW proper, there's September 26th in Niagara Falls, ESW Presents One Fall. And then Wrestle Bash 15 will be in November at Riverworks. I'm not sure exactly which day on that yet. Or I forgot the date. I need to go back and find that today because I'm working on getting the graphics ready for that. But yeah, so that's coming up. GCW announcement still to come after they get past this weekend, which is one of the, if not the biggest weekend. It's the homecoming weekend tonight and tomorrow. So a bunch of big matches down in Atlantic City this weekend. Be watching some of those. So that'll be tonight, and then tomorrow, well after Forbidden Door. Outside of that,
one thing I did forget to talk about, and I'll just briefly mention before we get out of here. Hulk Hogan's death may have been a result of medical malpractice. That's TMZ reported an occupational therapist who was present when Hogan died told police officers at the scene that a surgeon severed Hogan's phrenic nerve. Story is that Hogan, this is on TMZ.com, Hogan's daughter, Brooke, called for an autopsy to be performed, but it's unclear whether that occurred or whether Hogan's body's been cremated. It hadn't been as of last, we heard. But there's still more going on with that. So, that's big news a month ago, and it's still kind of dragging on. So hopefully there was no malpractice involved in it. But there may have been. And also John Cena's Peacemaker season 2 started this week. Definitely not for kids, and definitely, be careful if your kids are, it's great superhero. He has ties in the Superman movie. He was briefly in it. But unless you want to see naked dudes in an orgy, I would avoid letting your kids watch this first episode. So it was interesting. Yeah. So that's it. Well, thank you guys for coming and checking out. Next week, we'll have probably plenty of news with all the craziness going on this week, as well as obviously the Paris pay-per-view for PLE for WWE. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.